What's up, everybody, and welcome in to the College Basketball Countdown. I am your host, Jeff Nadeau, and we are live on Pub Sports Radio. If you're here, say hello in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to the show and to the channel. We have a lot going on. It is a crazy time of the year for someone like myself. I was just on the show for the last hour breaking down games. I literally have 30 seconds, back on another one. We're back. We're ready. We're raring to go. We're going to break down 5 games. Then we're going to go through your questions, see what you like today, the last regular season day of the college basketball season. And then we get into conference tournaments next week. We've already been in conference tournaments in the lower end of Division I with some of the smaller conferences. We've got all that mixed in and more. A lot going on today. A lot going on this weekend. Hope you're all having a great weekend. Let's get right into it. We had a pretty good week last week on this show. It's been fun. And guys, just so we know, this show, 11 o'clock, it's just there's so much going on. I got to try to make everybody happy. But I love everybody at Pub Sports Radio, and I like the chat here. So I'm excited to continue throughout the tournament to break down these games. Let's get to it right out of the gate. Memphis, FAU. Remember, I'll take your questions here after we get through the game, so feel free to get them locked and loaded. Please, if you can, throw me the game total, the game number you're looking at. There's so many games today. There's a lot of different situations. And make sure you understand what is a game that's playing in a tournament, what's a game that's just ending out the regular season. You want to make sure you know, because you may be betting into something. You'll hear senior day. You'll hear that a lot. And in certain games, there are no seniors on the team, or there's one senior who never plays. Make sure you understand what you're betting into, just like any other thing. Before we get to that, couple of shout outs. Shout out to the chat. Joey Harb, Justin, Andrew, B. B says, get out of bed. I wasn't in bed, bro. I've been up. Unfortunately, the other show I was on, the host went a little long there. All you guys in the chat, shout out to you. Brian, Nuke Worker, Truth, Tori, Big T, Donald, Anthony, Shy Picks, Daniel. What up, everybody? Thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. All right, let's get to it. Memphis, FAU. Starting out at the top of the hour. This goes in about 50 or so minutes. This is a big game, but is it really that big? This is the final game of the season for these teams. Most of these teams have kind of where they are decided for them. FAU cannot win this conference, okay? South Florida has it already tied up. They've won the 1 seed. So both these teams kind of playing out the string. You look at the first time these two teams played, okay? The game got to 78-74. Still a pretty high-scoring game, but not exactly where I think the bookmakers thought and bettors thought. The game didn't get to the 160s. The line here today has been bet up. It opened high 150s. It's now into the low 160s. You look at that game the first time. 12 for 56 from 3 combined were these two teams. They just didn't shoot the ball well, and they still got into the 150s. I think the market thinks, and I think they're right, this game's going to go over the posted total. It's a game that doesn't mean much. Generally, when you play in a game that doesn't mean much, the thing you don't care about, defense. Both these teams want to get out and run. Both these teams want to get out and transition. Both of these teams have good guard play. We know FAU is a good offensive team. The question for this group has really come on the defensive end. I agree with the move. I would have liked to have gotten a little bit better number, but I think 161 still a pretty good one. I'm going to go with the over in this game. I feel like some of the time you just have to say, I'm not worried about who wins, but I know that both these teams, I think, are going to have a real emphasis on front foot, transition, and I just know both these teams aren't particularly good on the defensive end. I like the over in this game. I think it could be like an 86-83 type of game. I think it's a fun one back and forth in Boca Raton here at the top of the hour. Over 161 and a half. That's the first play that I like here today. Top of the morning, says Darius Moore. Shout out to Darius Moore. He is a member of Pub Sports Radio. If you want to be a member of the community, hit that join button. I know a lot of people wonder, how do I hit the join button? Why can't I do it on a phone? I don't believe you can do it on a phone. You have to do it on your PC. So if you're on your PC, you want to join the community here at Pub Sports Radio, hit that join button right now and get some extra features that you might not be getting. Also, if you're here, say hello in the chat. I always like to see people, regardless of whether you like me or not, at least say hello. Say, hey, Jeff, I hate you. No problem with it, as long as you comment. King Oo's in here. He says, thanks for doing this today. We appreciate you and everyone in the chat. Much love and respect. What up, my man? What up? Somebody's asking, who do I like to win or cover? It's a tough line. I'm not really running to lay 7 with FAU. Then again, I'm not really running to get on Memphis either. I just want to bet the over here. That's really all I want in this game. All right, Albany and Vermont. This game is a tournament game. It is the America East tournament. And as we know, in this one, you have the home teams hosting, right? Or a home team host, the number 1 seed. And that would be Vermont. They're always at home in the playoffs, in the conference tournament. They have just been a behemoth year after year after year in this conference. They are impressive. They play with a lot of tenacity. Defensively, they're terrific. They really slow you down from a tempo standpoint, and that's been key this year in this conference. The reason Vermont is so elite is because they're good enough offensively, but they shut you down in transition. They don't let you run. They immediately put the stop set up and say, you're not going to run against us. That's kind of how it works against Vermont. That's why they have the number 1 defense. That's why they play a pace that is not conducive to the rest of this conference, and playing them is very difficult. Albany is not a good defensive team. Albany is good on offense, but this is one of the better, this is the best defense in this conference, but this is one of the better defenses in the country. They have an elite 3-point defense of Vermont. They're going to run you off the 3-point line, which doesn't bode well to Albany. Albany is a team that like to run. They like to get up and down. But for me, I'll gladly fade Albany here. Look, the truth of the matter is, I don't know if you can set these numbers high enough in this conference a lot of the time. I think the issue here, though, is this number's gotten out of control. It just has. I look at the total here at 145.5, though. I feel like for me, I think Albany hits a real wall here. I really, really do. I think Albany will be made to kind of operate in the half court. I think they shoot a lot of bad shots in this game. This is a great 3-point defense if you're Vermont. And I feel like Albany just kind of goes out with a whimper. You look at the team this year in both games they played against Vermont. One was 94-80, and I want to say the other one, 81-59, right? So the game is totally different. I think that's how this game goes, more like a 79-59 type of game. I like the under in this game. I like the under. I had kind of told myself, if this is anything above 145, I was going to take the under. I think if you like Albany, you probably lean over, right? Because you're going to have to hope they score against a really good Vermont defense. But I think this one is in the mixer. I think Albany really struggles in the half court. They're not going to get out and run in transition. I think you get a really, really, really focused Vermont defense today. I don't love them in offense. I think they're good enough. I think they get like high 70s. I don't think Albany gets much past 60 here. I think this is a good under spot. I'm going to go under 145.5. And again, if you lean Vermont, you lean under. If you lean Albany, you probably lean over. So I think it's very conducive to kind of what you like here. Nunya says Memphis plus 7.5. Yeah, I don't have any issue with it. I think at the end of the day, you have to kind of say to yourself, FAU is just not a team that you can run to lay 3 possessions plus with. They're just not very good on defense. But I think for both teams, the game doesn't mean that much too. But yeah, I think if I had to play it, I would definitely lean with the 7.5. Daniel says, big man speaking facts. Well, thank you. I try. I don't know if I'm speaking facts. It's not always been a great year for me in college basketball, but on this show, I think I've done pretty well overall. BT says, I appreciate you. Thank you, BT. Welcome in. By the way, guys, drop your games in the comments. A game you want me to take a look at, please drop it now. We're getting closer and closer to your questions. Wine Time Sports, shout out to you. What up, my man? What's going on? Shout out to you. Next one, Creighton and Villanova. Big game here, at least for one team. This is a huge game for Villanova. This group is on the bubble. I think they're a team that needs one more really big win. If you follow the bracket watch thing, at least to me, I think Villanova is like squarely on the bubble. I think they're either in on some brackets. I think they're out on others. The other night, losing to Seton Hall didn't help. That was a kind of bracket buster game. Seton Hall was focused. They got the job done, and they won. which is something they needed because they're on the bubble as well. Villanova is a team that, look, beat Creighton the first time around in Creighton without Justin Moore, 68-66. It was an impressive win for the Wildcats. They need another win here. Look, and all in all, Creighton is playing really well. But I think in the long term, they're in the NCAA tournament. They're not going to get the 1 seed in this conference. And this is a road game. Creighton is not the same team on the road. This is a Villanova team that, regardless of what you think of them, they are a very good defensive team, one of the top defensive teams in the Big East. This is a big game for them due to the fact that they really need it. Throw in the fact that I think Villanova has been very solid. We can lament, some of the bad losses they've taken at times, but they don't turn the ball over. They're an elite free throw team, and they're good defensively. Now, the one knock I have in this game is being played at Wells Fargo Center, which is the home of the Philadelphia 76ers, a place where Villanova play quite frequently. Here's the issue, and one thing that a lot of people don't know about the city of Philadelphia. Villanova is outside of Philadelphia. It's about 15 minutes from Philly, out on the main line, essentially far west Philadelphia. Villanova, in terms of the arena down in South Philly where the Sixers play, it's not that close, like 20, 30 minutes away. So this is essentially a neutral court game. Now, again, it's going to be largely Villanova in the crowd, but it's a bigger area, a bigger spot. I like Villanova here, though. I think to get the job done, this game screams Villanova, unranked against ranked. This number is essentially a pick 'em. Give me Villanova plus 1.5. I think to get a huge, huge win here at the Wells Fargo Center. Creighton's just not the same team on the road. We know Creighton, very variance-based. If they're making threes, they can win any game. If they're not making threes, they can lose any game. And that is no further from the first time these two teams played. Without Justin Moore, Villanova still won the game. We look at Creighton from the three-point line, 5 for 24 from 3. If they win, you can probably look at their three-point percentage, and it was good. And if they lose, you likely look at their three-point percentage, and it was not good. Big arena, road game doesn't really matter against a team in Villanova that's desperate for a big win. Villanova, plus 1.5. I think they win today. Tim S119 says, what's up, BMOC? Did you move back in with your folks? Well, first of all, my folks, one of them isn't around anymore. So don't talk about my family. Number 2, no, I've been in the same place I always have. What the hell are you talking about? First of all, what is it any business of yours where I live? I haven't lived with my parents since I was 18 years old. I'm very proud of that. I love my mom. I loved my dad, even though he's no longer here. But they both know when they were here, I don't want to live with anybody. I don't want to even live with a woman. I don't want to live with anybody. I want to live with myself. Okay. I'm not cut out to live with people. I love my family, and I'm very happy for what they did for me, but I'm better off on my own. Don't worry about where I live. Again, it's none of your business. No, I live in a house that I own and I pay for. That's brand new. So I know you're not necessarily coming at me, but like, what the hell does that matter? What people do in their own personal lives, Tim, is not your business. Just like everyone in this chat, it's none of your business what they do. It's none of your business what Nunya does. It's none of your business what Joey does. It's none of your business what Daniel does. Don't worry about that. We're not here to talk about people's personal lives. We're here to talk about basketball. So give it a rest, all right? Nutflush Allen, my man. What's up, Nutflush? Nutflush, a good man. Shout out to him. He is a member. I know he's an old school member, this cohort here. Shout out to him. Justin McElvey says the stacks play of the day is Kentucky. We'll get to that in a second. Absolutely. Big T says odd comment. Yeah, it is. Very odd. Cheshire Cat's in here. What up, Cheshire? Shout out to him. Talk Sports with JT. What up? Shout out to him. Kong's Clip says, Nadu, MFers are just disrespectful, brother. Just looking for a shout out. Appreciate your looks, my guy. Hit the like button. What up, Kong's Clips? Shout out to Kong's Clips, my man. Nuke says, I see you got that Houston shirt on. Any money to be made on them today? We'll get to them in a second. Justin McElvey just talked about Kentucky. Let's get to Kentucky. By the way, I like Villanova here. Let's get to Kentucky. Kentucky and Tennessee. And not for nothing, before we get to Kentucky and Tennessee, let's say an individual lives with their parents or with a parent. Maybe they take care of them. Maybe they're the only reason their parent is still able to live life because they have their child there to take care of them. Maybe your parents are really rich and they say, "Hey, son, I love you. You're my son, and I'm going to let you live on our property. I'm going to give you maybe we have a huge sprawling 100-acre farm and you can live, down the road or something." There's way too many motherfuckers that care about everybody else. Stop worrying about yourself, me, and worry about yourself. Way too many motherfuckers care about everyone else. Worry about yourself. Tim S says, it's been a while. Just noticed a different scene. My bad. Well, listen, I hate to tell you, Tim S, my mother and father would not have these folks on their walls. No, this is my house, my friend. Sorry I unleashed on you. But hey, it was fun. Kentucky, Tennessee. This number's down to 7. Jose not doing me any favors with the line here. Where'd you get this line, Jose? 7. Is any book have
Bet
this?
online.
What? Bet online. Okay. Thank you. Well, I love Bet online. I'm just not getting any favors with this number. This number opened 9. It's been bet all the way down to 7. And I think we have to ask ourselves, why is this number being bet down? Well, I think in the long term, I know Tennessee is a 1 seed. Let's ask ourselves, though, in the final game of the season against Kentucky, another ranked team, top 15 team, are they going to lose the 1 seed if they don't win this game? And let's just say, look, I think they win, Tennessee. I just don't think it should be 7. That's just my thought. I think Kentucky's really good. We know that. First time these two teams played, we obviously know Kentucky has some revenge here. It was 103-92. It was a back and forth NBA type game. So many players on both sides that are NBA players. Kentucky didn't have DJ Wagner, 11 points a game, 4 assists a game. He didn't play. They also didn't get anything from Trey Mitchell, who went out with an injury. And they still only lost by 11. They scored 92 points. I think there's plenty of pass to offense for them in this game. Look, Tennessee's going to get theirs. I just feel like Kentucky has a little bit more here to kind of play for in a sense. They're in revenge. Throw in the fact as well that if Kentucky can win this game, they'll get a 4 seed in the SEC tournament, which means a double bye. I think there's a lot there. A lot of people will mention senior day. It's senior day. So I'm going to just blind bet it because I don't really know. I just know it's senior day. Listen, there's one senior that play. Actually, there are a couple seniors that play on Tennessee. That said, Dalton Connect is one of the seniors. I mean, this is his first year at Tennessee. Doesn't really mean that much for him. That said, I don't really care about senior day. I think for like a minute or two, it means something. But I think it actually can hurt a team because late in the game, guess what? If Tennessee's up 9 with a minute to go, guess who's getting into the game? The fucking water boy on the sidelines that hasn't played a minute this season because he's a senior. So, like Tom Izzo's kid, right? Doesn't ever play, but like he gets into the game because, it's a cool thing and we're going to get a lot of national attention from this. Okay, let's get to my play. I do lean Kentucky. I don't want to bet it at 7. I could have got 9. I still like it. I think it's within 4 or 5. I like the over. I don't really care what the number is. It's abundantly clear. There's so many NBA players on both sides. We've seen these games in the SEC that are kind of visible track meets on paper. They generally become track meets. I think this is first to 95 wins. I think we have to start talking about the fact that anytime these types of teams play, these like high-level offensive machines where you have kids from, all sorts of places that can score and are going to go to the NBA. We see high scoring games a lot of the time. 103-92, that's kind of the norm. I'm looking at Kentucky games against like Alabama and other things. I think this total is too low. I think we should just throw it at 170 and see how it goes. If it's at 170, I still probably bet the over. I think this is, like I said, 94, 91 or something. I think this is a fun one, back and forth, a lot of transition. We know that Dalton Connect is just a scoring machine. Kentucky's 12th in the country in tempo. Tennessee 73rd. I think with transition. I like the over in this one. Okay, one more, and then we'll get to your comments and questions. Drop them now. Drop your comments and questions now in the chat. Pete Paul Kowski says, you're the man. Shout out to Pete. What up, Pete? Rogue Energy. What's going on, my man? King U says, yeah, maybe you live with your parents and take care of them and don't want to put them in nursing. Yes, there's a lot of people that do that. The sad fact that and fate that awaits all of us is old age, time. We saw it last week with Jason Kelsey. Not old, not retiring. Well, I guess he is, but not to the sense of because he's old. He's retiring because time has caught up with him and he has to leave. His career is over. And it's not that he's not still great, but he doesn't still necessarily feel like he has it. We saw when Kobe Bryant retired. Kobe loves basketball, rest in peace. He loved basketball, but he told us it was just time to go. It's time to say goodbye. It all catches up to us, regardless if we're an NBA player, an NFL player, a trash collector, a drywall installer, a doctor, a train conductor. The time catches up to everyone. And for our parents, we look now and they're 60, 70 years old. I remember my parents were 40. It's not that way anymore. My dad didn't even make it to 60. But I know in 10, 12, 15 years, my mom might need me. We don't know people's situations, and I think we have to stop pretending we do. Way too many people are so quick to say something. Oh, you live with your parents. Maybe I do. I don't. But maybe some people do. You don't know people's situations. Some people, maybe their parents have cancer and they can't walk. They need someone to get them food or water or take them to medical care. Don't judge. I need to be better with that. Okay, one more game here. Talk about a team that is thrown in the towel. We've heard a lot of the word match fixing recently. I mean, maybe we should start looking into DePaul. I mean, this team quit like at the beginning of the new year. I mean, outside of a game against Georgetown twice, I mean, this team has lost like every game by 20 or more. I mean, it's insane how bad this team is. That said, I'm going to go with another under here. I'm going to go under 144.5. I just think another number that's just kind of out of control. DePaul can't score. They had 43 the first time these two teams played. And there's one thing we can say about Seton Hall. Actually, they didn't have 43. They had 39. My apologies. I got that wrong. There's one thing about Seton Hall we know. They're an elite defensive team. Shaheen is terrific on that level. Look, we know Seton Hall is going to win this game, but I think for them, it's more about, kind of finishing on top, getting a win, playing a great defensive game here, and moving to the next, right? DePaul can't score. They can't stop anybody. But again, I think this number has gotten a little too high. I could see this like 71, 52 or something. 144.5 is too high. Needs to be 130s or less, late 130s or less. I think getting into 140s, this one's gotten too high. Seton Hall plays very slow at any rate. Look, I think they'll get some transition opportunities here, but I think in the long form, DePaul is going to try to hold on to the ball as long as possible. I just don't think we see one of those like 95-80 type of games where DePaul can't stop anybody, but they maybe add to it. Seton Hall just puts you in a blender. Like I said, first time these two teams played, 72-39. It was an ugly one. I don't think it'll be that today, but I think Seton Hall will be around 75. It wouldn't surprise me if DePaul fail to get to 60 here. This is a really good Seton Hall defense, regardless of what you think about them on offense. So for me, I'm going to go under 144.5. 5 plays today that I leaned on here. I like Memphis FAU over 161.5. I like Vermont Albany under 145.5. I like Villanova plus 1.5 at home against Creighton. I also like Kentucky, Tennessee over 167.5, and DePaul, Seton Hall under 144.5. So a lot of totals today. Could be my death now. However, we'll rock with it. I'm going to take your questions now. If you have them, throw them into the chat. I know Jose's starred a lot of them, which we'll get to them. Nufflush Allen says, you probably don't know what's going on, but fuck, you're hitting home hard. I'm sitting at my mom's house as she's on hospice. Much love, and your words are the fucking truth. Respect. Shout out to you, Nufflush Allen, and I wish your mom all the best. It really sucks when that fate comes to all of us, right? Just try to live and enjoy the memories that you have left with your mom. I think the one thing that I look back on with my dad, and my dad went from being, super strong to within a week, he couldn't even walk. It hit home that at least we got to talk towards the end. Some people don't get that. So, enjoy the time that you have, nut flush. For all of us, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire or you have $5 to your name. All of that will see all of us. That fate comes to all of us. Doesn't matter. All right. A lot of people in the chat sharing their experiences. I didn't want to make this a kind of a show like that today, but hey, shout out to everybody's parents. You never feel like you have your parents long enough. All right, let me get to some questions here. As Justin McElvey, it's not really a question. He just says he likes Kentucky plus 7.5. Got a little bit better number. I can't say I disagree with you there. Joey Harb says, what are your thoughts on Mercer Samford? This is in the SoCo tournament. Obviously, Samford's going to be your favorite in this one. Samford is the number 1 seed in this conference. Samford kind of ran roughshod, at least in the second game against Mercer. They won Mercer won 88-84 in the first one, but the game in there was high scoring, as usual in Samford games. I mean, Samford is a team that has a lot of pace to them. They want to play up and down. The game was 88-84, Mercer Samford, and the team shot 10 for 35 from 3, and the game still got to 88-84. Yeah, I like the over. I think both SoCo games go over today. I think you have 2 passed offense in both games. All the teams left are generally pretty high scoring. You look at the other one, Furman, Western Carolina. I think this game, though, should kind of deem to attract me. Mercer played yesterday, high-scoring game against the Citadel, 84-76. Mercer doesn't play fast, but, I'll tell you what, they've definitely turned themselves into having faster games, at least in conference. They're not a real good defensive team. And look, Samford's going to run. I think the question for Samford is what's going on with A.J. State McCray. He didn't play towards the end of the season. I chalk that up more to just – they were resting him, getting him ready for this tournament, which means everything to Samford. I'd really like to see Samford in the NCAA tournament. I think they could be interesting. There are a couple of teams I like to see. McNeese, Samford, High Point, all really good offenses in some of the smaller conferences. But, yeah, I think you asked about the over. I definitely agree with you there. Do you have any thoughts on High Point, team total over? So I actually bet High Point yesterday. I laid the 10 with them against Radford. Really nice win for them. Today they get Longwood. Longwood is a team that obviously has had some good seasons over the last couple of years under Griff Aldrich. You look at the regular season with this game, 93-76. And what was the other one? 74-72. The first one, which was, I think, more meaningful, was definitely more high scoring. Look, I have no issue with High Point team total overs. They play kind of a Creighton type offense with less emphasis on threes. They get out and run. They're a great rebounding team. That's one thing you have to realize. High Point can really, really rebound. They have a kid, Bado, terrific rebounder. A lot of easy opportunities. They're just a fun offense to watch. I have no issue with High Point team total overs. Longwood is a team that this is definitely not one of the better defenses under Griff Aldrich. They are 9th in 2-point defense, 9th in 3-point defense in this conference. A lot of transition-laden offenses. I think it definitely doesn't bode well for them today in a game that I don't think they're going to win. I like High Point's team total over, sure. St. Louis, Bonnie's under 154.5. I like that a lot. What do you think? It's not a game I'm interested in. It's the final game of the season. I think both teams are just looking forward to the A10 tournament. It's been a rough year for St. Louis. I think Travis Ford's on his way out there. They can't stop anybody. But that said, I think the Bonnies are pretty solid. I like them on defense, kind of a clash in styles there. It's a game that means nothing virtually. I would pass on games like that today. Jiffy Sauce says, Nadu, who do you like in the MAC tournament? I'm all on to Ryder. Well, that's a conference that's always kind of a shit show, if you will. The MAAC, the MAC. the teams that, like Siena, St. Peter's, Iona. He says he likes Ryder. I mean, I think it's definitely a good team to back. I mean, they've been really good under Kevin Baggett. They've won 7 straight games. This is not a particularly strong conference. I don't know. I don't disagree with you, though. I think maybe Marist. I like Marist a little bit. I know they haven't played great towards the end of the season, but John Dunna's team is really good defensively. They kind of make you play into the half court, kind of take you out of transition. But yeah, I don't have any interest much in playing that tournament, but I see why you like Ryder. I mean, they're playing really well. Trust your gut there. Daniel says Texas against Oklahoma at home. I don't have much on that one. A game that I don't think means much in the grand scheme of things. I wouldn't trust Texas. They're one of the worst against the spread teams in the country. They just don't cover a lot of games. I think they're bottom 10 or 15 in cover percentage. They just don't cover. So not a game I care about. Iowa State against K-State, another game, just kind of playing out the string in this conference. I think Iowa State obviously has a lot more reason to win this game. K-State stinks. I mean, we know that. And they have major issues with turnovers. They're in the bottom 15 in America in turnover percentage. Doesn't bode well for a team in Iowa State who turn you over like crazy. The first time these two teams played, Iowa State won 78-67. Kansas State had 17 turnovers. What's Kansas State playing for here? I actually do like Iowa State a little bit here. I think a couple of people asked about this one. I like your thought here. I think anything under 4, I have some interest. K-State, bad matchup for them here. Iowa State, number 2 in America in turnover percentage on defense. Doesn't bode well. This could be a 20 turnover game for K-State. We know they are very Doppler with the basketball. Somebody's asking about, do I have any soccer plays? Well, I don't know where you've been, but I had a lot of soccer plays today. One of them was Leicester City, team total over. You got another team total winner on Leicester. Ipswich, first time in like 2 months. They didn't get the 2 goals today, which sucks, but there's a winner for you there. I also have Blackburn and Plymouth over. I don't know why I bet that, because Plymouth just has forgotten how to score. I don't know what's happened to this team. I mean, they were an over machine like a month ago. Now every game they just find new ways to not score. And there's no different today. 14 shots. They only have 4 goals, 4 shots on target. They're just a brutal team anymore. I don't know why I bet on this team to score goals. They've just found no ability to score. Mansfield, I got that one. That was a big win for me. Mansfield over 2.5, plus 135. They have 3 goals against just Swindon Town, who can't stop anybody. I also have another over, Doncaster and Crew. I need a late goal from Crew here. Crew's one of the better offenses in League Two. I need a late goal for that group. We still have about 20 minutes to go. That's going to be, I think, the difference between me winning and losing today in England. So I need a win there. Do I have any soccer plays, though? They're pretty much all in motion already, though, unfortunately, Cody. Big O says, what do you think about USF Tulsa? I like USF. I think the goal for this group is to finish strong. And, I mean, why would you fade South Florida at this point? I mean, this team has had bad spot after bad spot, and they cover every game. They're one of the best ATS teams in the country. They've covered 11 of 15 as a favorite. And I think Amir Abdur-Rahim is the coach of the year. What an impressive season for them. If I'd have told you before the season USF was going to win the league, you'd have told me you're crazy. FAU by margin. Now, I will say, I still think FAU is going to win this American tournament. I'm going to bet them. I think when the rubber meets the road, FAU will beat them in a rematch. But today, I mean, they ran roughshod over Tulsa a couple of weeks ago. I think USF's the way to go there. I will say we've heard a lot, and I actually did a news hit last night for Fox 29 in Philadelphia about this Temple situation. I will say I would be blown away if someone on the team that plays was not involved. And they possibly influenced others, or a coach is involved. From what I understand, someone on the team, whether it's a coach or players, are directly involved with this. This is not an isolated thing either. There have been other games involving Temple University where we've seen wild line movement. Now, I have heard through the grapevine that there's an organized group that is doing some of this stuff. The FBI is now involved, which is interesting because that means they're likely going to bring some sort of, I'm not saying racketeering indictment, but some organized indictment because sports bribery is a federal charge, right? If, let's say, I go to a university and I say to a couple of kids, hey, I have money. I want to fix a game. Are you interested? And let's say I get a couple of kids to do it, but I bullied them into doing it, right? I told them, hey, you want to play ball here. It's in your best interest. The people above me don't fuck around. If I do that, I'm already involved. I'm going to get hit with sports bribery. I'm probably going to get hit with extortion, all sorts of stuff. Now, if the player that I choose is like, yeah, I'm in fact, I'll get other people to do it too, he can be culpable as well and be charged federally. Now, we have to know what went on here. Was it an influence group that came in and said, hey, we'll pay you, do what we say? It'll be very interesting to hear more details on this. This could just be by chance, but I think that's very unlikely. Very. You don't see a move 5 or 6 points in a late season game with no injuries. Just doesn't happen. It's crazy. Something went on here. Something. We'll have to see what we find out. Now that the FBI is involved, that's very interesting because that means they could be looking at some sort of bribery indictment or some sort of bribery case. And look, I'll tell you right now, I don't think they're the only team. I think there are other teams doing this. Daniel says this spread went from 2 to 8 in less than 2 hours. It did. Well, 7.5, moved 5.5 points in 2 hours. And the people that are doing it have big money. Does St. John's smoke Georgetown? I don't have any interest in that game. Georgetown stinks, so yeah, why not? Why not bet against them? BT says Jeff's knowledge is off the charts. Always has been hella impressive. Thank you, BT. Thank you for the kind words, my man. Nuke says, where can I get the Houston first half minus 3.5? Where can I get? I'm not sure what you're asking. I'm sure you're just asking where's that number. Ask Con Clips. He's the one that mentioned it. Do I think they get back on track today against Kansas in the first half? Yeah, I think that's a good bet. I really do. I actually leaned a little to the over here. I think the markets lean to the over here due to the fact that this Houston team just can't defend without fouling. Their foul rate is crazy high on defense. And I think we've seen a lot of their games tick over because of the free throw frequency in their games. Houston's went over in 7 of 10. Totals up to 137.5, up from 136. I kind of still leaned over. It's all going to be about McCullough, though. We don't know McCullough's status. That's something you want to read into. Kelly McGinnis says, let's kick the bookies in the nuts today. Let's kick them in the balls. F the nuts. We say balls. Virginia minus 8.5. Yeah, I'm not interested. I don't want to bet on Virginia. F Virginia. No interest. Game means nothing. Drake Bradley in the Missouri Valley tournament. I like it. Drake beat him in both matchups this season. I don't really know what you do against Drake because if you kind of try to double or shut off the interior, then DeVries will go off. If you try to shut down DeVries, he's a good passing guard and he can get you out of it and get it to your big. So I don't really know how you stop Drake if you're Bradley. Brian Wardell's had major issues with that this season. I don't know if much changes here. A good angle a lot of the time is fading a team that's already been beaten twice by a team. I did it yesterday against High Point. It's a good spot here again to do it here. Nanya says we kicked them in the teeth. Yeah, well, regardless of where you're kicking someone, let's kick them. Let's get some winners today. I've bet Maine Bryant over 143. I don't hate it, Billy Friedrich. I mean, that's a tournament really outside of any game involving Vermont. Generally, teams like to play up and down in that conference, especially Bryant. Bryant's one of the worst teams in the country in initial field goals and transition. What does that mean in lay terms? It means that Bryant allow you to run at any level you want. And most of the field goals that your opposing team gets against Bryant are in transition, which likely means higher scoring opportunities. One other game that I wanted to discuss, Morehead, and we all love Morehead. Who doesn't? Morehead plays Little Rock today in the title game, I believe. This will be your first bid, I believe. Yeah, I believe so. I'm right there, aren't I? Is this the title game? Yeah, I believe it is. Little Rock and Morehead in the title game. This would be one of your first bids given out tonight. This is a great game. I think Little Rock, they played really well last night. First time these two teams played. Little Rock beat Morehead 69-68, and Jordan Lathan didn't play. I'm just going to say it. I like Morehead tonight. I really do. I think this has been the best team in this conference, and I think they will show that here. I really do. I think Jordan Lathan is really important to what they do. Riley Minix, their ability to rebound the basketball. Little Rock's had a little injury concern late with Mekhi Mitchell, I believe. He's been in and out. And I just feel like without Lathan, that's the reason they lost. It's not like they didn't play bad. Throw in the fact that Little Rock won the game by 1 and shot 14 more free throws. I like Morehead tonight. I think they win this game. They're going to be an underdog. Morehead punches their ticket. The Fighting Kenny Farids. We all love Morehead. Who doesn't? They win tonight and go to the NCAA tournament. They're back under Preston Spradlin. I think they're back in the NCAA tournament tonight. Wiggins Road says, when can we stop pretending Wisconsin is good? I don't pretend that. I don't know who's still pretending that. I don't pretend that ever. Virginia's up to 11.5. Yeah, I don't know where you got 8. That number's moved, I believe. Conference championship game tomorrow, Billy Friedrich says, I lean Stetson to beat Austin Peay. So I have Stetson plus 400 to win this conference. So I'm just hoping for a win here. But yeah, I agree. I like Stetson. That was quite the gutsy win last time out against who was that against? Who they beat the other night? I'm drawing a blank. Who the hell did they beat the other night? Why am I brain fogging? Oh, Jacksonville, right? Jacksonville. Impressive. I don't know how they won, but they did. Yeah, I think they win as well. Wait, hold on. Kong Clip says Morehead's team total. Is it really 69? That's amazing. Wow. Is that true? Can someone confirm that? We're going to leave in about 5 minutes here. Games tip off in about 15 minutes. Wow, that is so funny if that's true. Anthony Woodbury says, I had Tennessee Martin plus 7.5 last night against Morehead. I got lucky and won 500. Good stuff. Yeah, maybe they had the eye on this game as far. No, their team total is not 69. Oh, okay. That would have been funny if it was. Daniel says, call me crazy, but I'll take Alabama under 95.5. I mean, I think you get to 100 personally. That game to me screams like 104-99 or something. Those teams are about as fast as they can get. And Arkansas has been all like unbelievable recently offensively. So yeah, I think that game is a fun one. I think that one's go. Lean Abdul-Jabbar is talking about women's basketball. Good luck. I don't bet women's basketball, but good luck. I couldn't outside of Caitlin Clark and that other chick down at LSU. I couldn't tell you another women's basketball player. What's her name? Angel Reese. I saw someone on TikTok complaining that she wasn't a top 10 women's player. And the woman was essentially saying that it was racist. Well, no, she's not as good as Caitlin Clark, and it's nothing to do with skin color. Not everything, well, according to this woman, everything's about color to her. But no, Caitlin Clark's just better than Angel Reese. I mean, it's got nothing to do with what skin color she is. Angel Reese is a great player, but she's not better than Caitlin Clark. I mean, who on earth would ever say that? You know, but listen, if I told you the sky was blue, that woman would say, you're racist. Like, you know, so it's always everything about race to that person and to some people. Jeff, do you agree that Memphis FAU isn't over? Yeah, we mentioned that at the top of the show. Absolutely. It's one of my plays today. Lean Abdul-Jabbar says, I'm black, and I think Reese is limited. She's a good player, but she's not a top woman's player. I mean, and not for nothing. I'll tell you this. Caitlin Clark, hell of a player. But let's be real. Against Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Cooper, Tina Thompson. Come on, man. Candace Parker. Caitlin Clark will get shook against them. Let's just be honest. Caitlin Clark is, a great player in college. I think she'll be a solid shooter in the NBA or WNBA, but she ain't better than Lisa Leslie and Candace Parker and Dinah Taurasi. Elena Deladon was a hell of a player back in the day. But yeah, Caitlin Clark's on top right now. Absolutely. And what has she done for that sport? How many people have interest in women's basketball? Cheryl Miller, yeah, her as well. I mean, they would have cooked all of them would have cooked Caitlin Clark. All right, let's wrap this up. We got to go. Come on, man. Give me one more goal in this Crew Doncaster game. Come on, man. Am I really going to get screwed here? So lame. All right, I'm out. Let's go over the plays one more time. Memphis FAU over 160. What was that total? 161.5. Albany, Vermont under 145.5. Villanova plus 1.5 against Creighton. Tennessee, Kentucky over 167.5. DePaul, Seton Hall under 144.5. Everybody have a great night. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your day. This is a fun day. I got to get to some horse racing as well. There's all sorts of stuff going on today. There's never enough time in the day. I've been on the air since 10 o'clock. I've done 2 straight shows. Shout out to Pub Sports Radio. If you are here right now and you haven't, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit that subscribe button now. We will see you all next week. Thank you to Jose behind the scenes for producing. What do you like today, Jose? What's on your agenda?
I'm focused on Liverpool, Manchester City on Sunday and praying to God that I lose my shirt on that game every year betting Liverpool. So I'm hoping that it goes through for me this time.
Fair enough. He has no basketball today. He's worried about a game tomorrow. Fair enough. He's ready for baseball. We know that. Saratoga is coming up soon. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But today we worry about Aqueduct. By the way, I want to talk about something really quick. For everyone that loves horses, this is unbelievable. Yesterday at Aqueduct, did anyone see the late pick 5 sequence at Aqueduct? They had more chalk than a fucking classroom. Holy shit. I think the pick 5 paid out like $30. What a fucking disgrace. A pick 5. Literally 3 to 5, 7 to 5, 6 to 5, 1 to 5. I mean, it was nonsense. Complete laugher. Just disgraceful. Billy Friedrichs' his great UFC card tonight. There you go. That as well. Shout out to everybody. I got to go. I'll see you all later.